Hello, it's Mr. Brown. This podcast is for pretty much all CNT classes. It's just a quick overview on how to use the DIA program for making network drawings. In 120, we need to use it for doing the tech plan. In 125, we use it for doing our network design lab. In 140, we use it for our cabling equipment racks, if you will, the equipment racks for the cabling in our network closet. So in all those D2L sites, I have links to DIA. But if I just open my browser and do a quick search for DIA for Windows, for example, one of the first links I see here, download DIA for Windows, takes me right to that program, DIA Diagram Editor. And what you'll notice here is there's links for Windows, there's links for Mac OS, and a link for Linux. I have installed it on all three of these systems and used it on all three systems. It works almost identical, looks almost identical on all three. Good basic program for drawing network type diagrams or similar types of diagrams. So I download that, I install it. Once I have it installed, I usually get some sort of link on my desktop. Down on my dock bar, I have a little icon that kind of looks like a D. I launch that and I get this page or this program here. I have a little drawing area, I have some drawing tools on the left, and I have some icons to use. One of the first things we want to notice is on the left, drawing tools, and then icons below. Chances are you're not going to see the icon you want right away. So the first trick is this little option in the middle allows me to select a drop down of a bunch of different icon sheets. So if I drop down here to where it says other sheets, these are all the different icon sheets I have available to me. The main ones we end up using are the ones Cisco computers, Cisco miscellaneous, Cisco network, Cisco switch, Cisco telephony, and there's also one that's general on network down here a little further. Scroll down a little bit further. There's one for network, and occasionally we use the map one that has some buildings in that we need. So one of the first things we need to do in most of our projects is a logical diagram to show the routers and switches connected. So I'm going to do pick the Cisco switch option, Cisco switch sheet. In here I have icons for routers and I have icons for switches. What you'll notice, in like most drawing programs, if I hold my pointer over one of the icons, it actually brings up a little bubble that says what it is. There's a router. I come down a little bit further. Here's a router with a firewall. So there's actually different icons to mean different things. Well, it does take a minute or two to find the icons that you need, but hold it over it, it'll pop up, and you can find the right icon for the job. So I'll start off with probably a similar structure we would have in most of our designs. I'm going to grab one of my workgroup switches, I'll plop it out here. I'll grab one of my basic routers, plop it out here. And let's put a couple things in here, and in the process I'll show you some tricks on how to use this. First, click your icon over here that you need, click the screen, it drops it on. Just like any other drawing program, if I use my Control C, Control V, or my edit, copy, edit, paste, okay, my regular options that I have. If I do my Control C, I can copy something. Control V allows me to paste it. So if I need multiple of something, I can paste it very quickly. So if I need a handful of switches, I can paste it quickly. Or if I need to get rid of it, Control X will cut it out of there very quickly. So just like most drawing programs, copy paste works the same. Next thing I probably want to do is actually put some kind of label on this. So let me put a label next to this, maybe a model number of my switch, and then I'll show you how to group things and then copy paste, if you will. So I'm going to come over here and grab my text tool, and I'm just going to click right by it, and I'll put something like Cisco 2950. Maybe that's the model router that we're dealing with. And I could include more. I'll hit the enter key and do something like 24 port switch or something like that. And I can actually make this a little bit better label. I can grab that and move it around. And once I have it where I want, what I can actually do is glue that label to the icon. So if I kind of click and drag to select both of those, you'll see both light up. And I can go on the top bar and click the Object option, drop-down menu, and click the group option here, where you'll see the Control G is the shortcut. What that does is put the icon and the label together, that they will stay together no matter where I move them. That's handy. That also allows me, if I now have multiple of these in my facility, I can Control C that, Control V that, and I can put a couple switches in my network. So that allows me to very quickly propagate my map with switches that I might have for different departments or different floors. I can do the same with my router too. I can put a label here and quick do a Cisco 2911 router or something like that. Put that right next to it, group together. Control G will group them together. Now they're grouped. Alright, next thing I want to do is probably connect them. So I'll click my little line option. I'll click on top of my switch. I'll hold that down. And I'm going to drag it up to the router. When I get on top of the router so it lights up, I'll let go. And that'll connect the two together, that no matter what I move around, they are connected. Well, probably the next thing I see is there's a little arrow here that I don't want. So if I double click on that line, I have some options for my line style, dotted line or whatever. I have an option here for start arrow or end arrow. I can drop down and get rid of that. And I can also, in here, change my color. Here's the option for color. So maybe I do want to put orange there to indicate fiber, something of that sort. So I'll do OK with that, and look at that. I got my line. Now, if I wanted to, I could Control C that line, Control V that line, put it off to the side, and make myself a little key. So if I'm trying to make a pretty sophisticated map, I could put a little key over here that says this is a multi-mode fiber link, something like that. Now I'm starting to build a little key over here off to the side, so I can color code my links if I want to. I could repeat that. I can Control C this, Control V this, and kind of drag it over for the next one. That way it's already all formatted, ready to go. So there's that one, Control V, and I can do the last one over here. Alright, so there's a couple of things to get me started. I probably want to put a computer or two in, so I will drop down and I will do, I think it's under Cisco Network where they have, there's some under there, but I think it may be under Cisco Computer. Yeah, Cisco Computer. I'll get that sheet yet. There we go. Now I actually have some basic workstations I can plug in. And again, I can plop that on the screen. I can give it a little label. I'll put a little label underneath it. Maybe do some sort of computer lab PC quantity 25 or something like that. Move my label over near it. I can group them together. Or maybe I realize, oh, I want to go back and edit that. Well, if I double click it, it's not going to allow me to edit. It's just going to allow me to change the alignment left, right, vertical alignment up, down, change my font, change my points, all that kind of good stuff. But it's not going to let me edit the text. I need the little I-beam up here to do that. So I'll click the I-beam, and now I can come in here and say, no, I don't want this to say computer lab. I want this to say student computer lab. Oh, I want to say PC lab. And then I can leave the quantity 25 here. There we go. That looks better. Now I could take and group those together. Control G to group. And now I can bring this down and I can connect it over here to the PC. Nice. I'll change my line here. Ooh, I want to make this guy blue now. So I want to make him blue. And then I will Control C, Control V that. I'll move that up here and make that part of my key. And I will do something like category 6 UTP. Maybe I'll put in here 1 gigabit link or something like that. Now I'm starting to build my key. I can make that pretty later, but I'm starting to build my key. And again, I could Control C, Control V, and I could come over here and I could start building this into all the labs that I have. There we go. And we're not far from being done from a basic drawing that I would build. Alright, what if I need to come back and edit one of these? Oh my goodness, I need to change that. It's grouped. If I do the object option on the top and ungroup, it pulls those back apart that I can edit the label, do what I need to do, come back in here, Control G, and group these two together. Shift, Control G, now they're grouped back together again. Alright, so there's my basic drawing. At this point I probably want to save what I have, so I will do a file save on this guy. and I'll do something like, I'm going to point it to my desktop, and I'll do something like sample diagram. There we go. Now that saves it as a DIA file. That's useful if I want to come back and work on this again, but let's say I'm totally done. The next thing I probably want to do is I'm going to do a file export, and I'll save this down here as a JPEG or PNG, turn right around and save it again. So on my desktop now, I will see two files out here. I have a diagram, DIA file, and a PNG file. And what that's going to allow me to do, there's my PNG file. What that's going to allow me to do is later on when I am typing up my document, I'll open up an open Office document real quick. As I'm typing up my project or my plan or my lab or whatever it happens to be, the plan is to, I can do insert, picture from file, go to my desktop, find that sample diagram, enter, and it plops it right into my document. Nice and clean. That's what you want to do. Alright, so there's a quick overview on getting up and running with DIA, and just a couple other little tidbits on how to work the system. I want to exit out of my open office. No, I don't want to do that. I'll go back to DIA real quick. So there is my DIA. Reminders, sheets are here. There's a whole bunch of different options for icons. I showed you the colors on the links and the arrows and icons. The rest is just spend a little bit of time on to figure out maybe some of the details, but there's all the big pieces. I think one of the other ones you might need is under Cisco Network. A lot of times we need the cloud. Yeah, Cisco Network. I'll put a cloud out here, and that could be my ISP. I can grab that guy. I'll group those two together, Control G. Then I can actually use an arrow from my router out to my ISP. And there could be simulating the internet connection. There you go. So save that, Control S. When I'm done with that, I would re-export. So I have the updated version of it. Yes, I'll replace. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And then I'd be good to go. So there's a quick overview of using DIA.